After hitchhiking to Chile Chico, we spent a few days around one of Patagonia's most beautiful lakes, taking the ferry across Carretera Lake, going to a local chamamé fiesta, and preparing for our biggest hike yet. We started early, leaving town and walking to the edge of the highway. Everything packed, we're going to Chile Chico, hitchhiking that way. We're finished with Puerto Ibáñez, new backpack, and now we're going all the way to Chile Chico, which is in that direction, about 110 kilometers. Let's see if we can find a ride real fast. Our first ride only brought us a few kilometers outside town to a small rural supermarket. First ride brought us around halfway, not halfway. We still have a good bit to go, but now we're on our own again and we're gonna hitchhike again that way. So we kept walking. After a few hours under the Patagonian sun, we finally got another ride. On the way, we stopped at a mirador overlooking Carretera Lake, the biggest lake in Chile and the largest here in Patagonia. This lake was formed by glacier. It is shared by Chile and Argentina. The road along the lake cuts through narrow rock gorges and cliff, some of the most dramatic roads in Patagonia. By the evening, we finally arrived in Chile Chico. Alright, we arrived in Chile Chico. We got a ride real fast and we're here again. Now 25 minutes that way to the camping. The next morning started slow. Breakfast at camp. Later, we visited the small local museum here in Chile Chico. The museum shows the history of the early settlers who crossed the Andes into this remote region, and fossils that prove Patagonia was once underwater millions of years ago. Editing day. Editing. And papas fritas. Travel days aren't always adventurous. Sometimes they're editing days. Later, we walked up to a viewpoint above the lake. A small trail led us down along the cliffs. We need to get down there again. Until we reached the water. The owner of our camping was incredibly kind and drove us to the ferry.
Espectacular. Oiga, se pasó. Muchas gracias.
No. Cuando guste.
Cuando deseen.
We're going to Puerto Ibáñez.
Changing on the water, where birds above had flown. There was pain in your eyes, so you vanished in the night. Missouri River.
From the ferry, we could see the jagged peaks of Cerro Castillo, one of Patagonia's most famous trekking areas.
Darkness of the beach, love is like a ghost in the distance out of reach. Travel through the night, 'cause there is no fear. Alone but right behind, till I watch you disappear. I'm moving through the dark of a long black night, just moving with the moon. In the light it shines, and I'm thinking of a place, and it feels so very real.
Puerto Ibáñez. Later. A lot of the music here is chamamé, a traditional folk style from northern Argentina that spread across Patagonia. Chamamé is huge in Patagonia, especially at local fiestas.
Y ese grito era ese hombre sentea su misionera como nunca. Yo seguía de ti enamorada, pero te fuiste. Delante de mí, otras bocas cuando escuches su te quiero.
Today ship back to Chile Chico. We're going that way, we're taking the ferry again. Then in a few days we're gonna do the trek from Chile Chico all the way to Cochrane, which is about 70k. Takes about 7 to 8 days depending on if you have rainy days and want to extend a bit to get better views. But first we have to catch this ferry because it's way too late. After a long night, we barely caught the ferry back. Back in Chile Chico. 2 hours later, we were back in Chile Chico. Slow wake up today. We were at the birthday party yesterday. We are currently planning how we're gonna get to the hike we're doing. So this is what we're working with at the moment. It's very expensive so far. So we might have to ask the owner of our camping for us to help us out a little bit. And we will see, maybe 10,000 to get there, 60 kilometers, but he has to go back. And we're getting some food here. And I finally got my hands on some of the cherries they grow here, which are really, really sweet and taste really amazing. The next day, we started planning our next adventure. A long hike from Chile Chico all the way to Cochrane. 110 kilometers through remote Patagonia. We're going back to Puerto Ibáñez because I forgot my charger there. So back to Puerto Ibáñez for today, maybe go hiking to a waterfall and then we will see. Back in Puerto Ibáñez and I got my charger. And we're now going to a waterfall, which is in that direction, about an hour of walking. Having a lot of hours before the return ferry, I decided to hike to a nearby waterfall. This mountain right there is Cerro Castillo. We're gonna be there in 1 to 2 to 3 weeks. After a long walk under the sun, a local driver picked me up. waterfall. Now it's 1 hour 30 back that direction. Back to Puerto Ibáñez. And then at 8 in the evening I have a ferry. But first I would have to go all the way back. Hopefully we're gonna find a hitchhike. Maybe get a ride. Back at the harbor, I got some bad news. The ferry, scheduled for 8 PM, was delayed until 11. While waiting at the harbor, I spotted an otter swimming near the docks. Finally got back to camp around 3 in the morning. Tomorrow the real adventure will begin. The hike from Chile Chico all the way to Cogran. But that's for another video. So stay tuned, don't miss it, and I see you in the next one.